Debbie McDade from A.R.T, which stands for Advanced Rework Technology. For any of our audience who are unfamiliar with your brands, can you just give us a summary of what you do?
A.R.T, we are an independent training organisation based around the electronics industry. We do specialise in IPC training to all of the standards, but also we like to tailor bespoke training to suit the needs of our customer and their product.
Okay. And you're here walking the aisles of the show today. What are you hoping to gain from your trip to EDS today?
The trip to Coventry.
Yes.
I'm here to talk to customers about changing standards, the needs of the organisation, but also just to catch up with friends. Obviously, with COVID, we were locked indoors for so long that some faces I've not seen in a while. So just come say hello.
Brilliant. You mentioned standards there. Give us a clue as to the work you do around standards, because I know A.R.T is involved in the development of the sorts of standards. So what standards are we talking about, and what's your role in guiding those?
Well, with IPC standards, there's hundreds of them, but they start from the design of assembly through to rework, repair, modification. Products may have been out in the field for many, many years. They have to come back. They may have to be updated, modified to suit new needs of the product. Also, things need to be reworked, repaired. So every stage of the process, there is an IPC standard. And A.R.T, we teach the standard. So we find it very important that we also are involved in the process of developing the standard. So we know what's in there, why it's in there. So when we teach it to others, we understand that information. But also when they bring out new revisions, we need to understand what's new, why something's gone in there, why something has changed. Your technology changes, so quality, acceptance, design may change. Also, things are taken out. Why has it come out? So we can then pass it on to the industry. Also, with the training, or the training courses, we want to be involved in development of the curriculum. So we understand, again, how it's taught. But we find it really important that if we teach you something, that we are involved in developing that information. So it's not why it's changed, but how it's changed. And myself, I am the Vice Chair of Product Assurance for IPC. So we look after all the different quality standards. So we herd the cats together, which is really fun. Get everyone on the same page, singing from the same hymn sheet, which is interesting. It's fun. I'm also the European Chair of Standard Development for IPC. So we have regional groups that all get together. I'm also the European Chair of IPC training committees. And we're meeting in Munich in 2 weeks' time to get the groups together.
And are these global standards? Are there differences between regions, or is it?
They are global standards, but we do have regional groups. So we have the European groups, we have Nordic groups, there's groups in China, there's groups in India. And it's not to change the standard, but being based in the US is quite difficult, especially funding for people to go to the meetings. It's self-funding by the companies. So we thought if we have regional groups, then they have a voice. And they can vote on criteria, information, they can submit information without actually being in the US for the meeting. And we've actually found that there's quite a few different needs based on regions. For example, in Europe, we have quite a large automotive industry. So we developed automotive documents for IPC that originated from Europe, but are now used globally.
When you just now sort of explained across the product development process from design through manufacture, through to rework and repair, that type of thing. In my mind, I've always thought of the sort of IPC standards in terms of rework revolving around the original production process. But we're here on the stand today, the Sustainable Engineering Alliance, which you're a member. And for product durability and product longevity, we're interested in the ability to rework boards much later in their life. So legacy boards that may need a repair if there's some damage or if components failed. So do those standards apply to that type of work? Yeah. So upgrade, enhancement, repair, modification. Give me an indication of what's the oldest board you've ever been in?
I was working on a board that first went into production in 1957, and it's been out in the field ever since. And it's come back due to water damage.
Right.
And it's like, how is it now water damaged? It's been out in the field for so long in that environment, but all of a sudden it's got this failure due to water damage.
Right.
And they had to do quite an extensive rework and repair. So they had to take a component off, replace the component. That was the fun bit, sorted the components.
Yes.
And then they had to repair the board.
Yeah, so probably through hole, big solder joints,
It was
obsolete devices.
It was interesting.
Yeah.
And then we modified. We then covered in a conformal coating to prevent ongoing damage. And due to the nature of that product, they were happy to do that kind of modification.
I'm going to throw in a question there on conformal coating. Often in sustainability, there are some conundrums, which is if you want to increase the reliability and the durability of a product, you might want to conformally coat it. But at the same time, if that board was damaged or a component failed or some weren't provided, my concern is that conformal coating might make that job a lot harder, if not impossible. What's the story around rework and repair and conformally coated boards?
Nothing's impossible.
Okay.
As long as we've got documentation, so we know what the conformal coating is.
Yeah.
Or you can go through the different tests, like does it react to alcohol? Does it react to abrasion? Does it react to heat? That way, if we can understand its reactions to the heat, the alcohol, we can then sort of identify what the coating is. And then there are formal methods to take that coating off.
Right.
And we won't need to take off the whole board. You've got to take off that localized area.
Yeah.
So nothing's impossible.
So it can be
As long as you know what you're dealing with.
That's thrown in another question. You've got my thought process going now. I volunteer in a repair cafe from time to time. In fact, this Saturday is the next session.
I've seen.
And one of the biggest problems we have is a lack of documentation to allow us to start repair, even just disassembly processes. Now, one of the interesting things with the eco design for sustainable product regulations is that's introducing something called a digital product passport, which is hopefully a sort of QR code accessible history of a product, right through from bill of materials. How valuable is that going to be to companies like yours?
That would be amazing. If it was something so simple as a QR code that calls up all the data sheets, all the information, that would be great.
Right. So you're in favour of digital product passports by the same, because I am.
Yes, definitely.
Yes. Yeah. Full bill of materials, all of those chemistries, all of the parts, part numbers, etc. Yeah. So, yeah, I think that could have, my guess is that could have a really big impact on the improvement of the ability to repair products over time. And so hopefully that will migrate through to the electronics industry quite quickly. Yeah, interesting. Something else I wanted to talk to you about, because we've talked about in the past, and I've seen in the media, the work you're doing in terms of encouraging engineers into your industry. And I've got an interesting question, which we can expand on hopefully, which is, I trained as an industrial designer. I'm also an engineer in the practical work I've done. Then there's chartered engineers, and then there's technicians. Where does the technician fit into that math? Because I know you're focusing in on technicians. Where does the technician sit in the family of engineers within a company?
They are the head of the family.
Okay.
Without the technicians, the engineers don't have a job.
Right.
The engineers that design, the production engineers, need the technicians to be building the product.
Yeah.
Without someone building the product, the engineers aren't needed.
Right.
And that's why we took that step back. There's all promoting engineers in the industry, emerging engineer programs. And we said, well, without the technicians, why do you need the engineers?
Yep.
And a lot of school leavers, college leavers are all saying, well, oh, it's a dirty factory. It's not. It's the exact opposite. In some instances, they could be in the clean room where they're having to put on the hat, the coat, the boots for military, medical. It's such a really clean environment. They thought it's going to be all dirty and sweaty and oily and greasy, and it's not. Because obviously FOD, any foreign object debris, particulate matter on an assembly, could cause a whole failure. But when they think of technicians for that industry, they think of like being in a garage.
Yes.
And it's not.
It's not.
So we want to promote technicians. We don't want to go to university level because by then they already made their career choice. They are doing the engineering degrees. But we want to go into schools, colleges, say, this is fun. It is an exciting environment. And we've been doing work with A.R.T in Luton. We did the UK Manufacturing Day recently. And we had a whole group of students come in. And they all said the same. They didn't realize how fun it was going to be. So we gave them an assembly. It was a little dancing LED assembly, maybe through hole to keep it simple for the time frame we had. They got their rope, sit there and solder the parts. They had a little speaker, clap their hands, or they sung to it, and the LED chased around. They thought it was great.
Yes. So it's, raising the profile of technicians, but also potentially repositioning it to represent a role that they would play in a modern factory. Yes. Not the factories. It's interesting because someone said to me a little while ago, ask a child to draw a picture of a factory and they'll draw a spare box with a chimney with smoke coming out. Factories haven't been like that for 50 years. All longer.
And it's not just younger children,
no.
Even the teenagers, they will probably draw something very similar.
Yes, which is why I've got the argument, which is I think all factories should have glass windows so that children can see things being made. We
need to take them all to the McLaren factory in Woking with that big glass front and everything is open. They can see what's going on. They've got glass fronts and all the walls into the different departments and you can see exactly what they're doing.
Brilliant. I'm going to start to bring the interview to a conclusion, but I'm going to introduce a much broader question now. So your boots on the ground, you're in factories, the employees from those factories are with you, you're talking to a lot of people. So how do you see UK manufacturing over the next 24 months? Where are the hot spots? Where are the highs? What sectors are doing well? Where do you see it going over the next?
What I can see, all sectors are doing well. We haven't found any slump in any particular area. People are more aware of sustainability. They want to look at changing their process to maintain sustainability. They're looking at how they can design products for the future to make sure there are no failures, no downtime, which originally made me panic. They're not going to need me for the ongoing, but in fact, it was the opposite. They're now using us to work with their design guys. I'm working with the production managers, supervisors to look at equipment. So I think it's really going on.
Everything on the up.
Everything.
Good. I'm going to conclude with 3 questions. First of all, how do people get in touch with you? So if engineers in our audience are interested in the services you provide, I'm assuming you've got a website they can visit.
Yes.
And you've got a team of people, you've got a facility.
Yes.
So they can come and have a look at the equipment. Because I understand you've put new equipment in recently. So all normal channels.
Yes.
LinkedIn.
We have a company LinkedIn page. I have a personal LinkedIn page. Yes, we have a website, rework.co.uk. They can come and visit. We can go to them to discuss their training needs. And that's something good with A.R.T. They can come to us for training, but we also have the staff, the resources and the equipment to go to them. So if they want to keep it in their facility for a large group of people, we can train on their site instead.
Brilliant. Now we're going to conclude with 2 slightly more light-hearted questions, which is your biggest engineering hero.
My dad.
Your dad.
My dad.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why?
Well, everyone says, how do I get involved in this industry? Being a woman, obviously there's now a lot more women involved, but when I started with A.R.T 24 years ago, I was the only female trainer.
Well, no.
I was the only female involved in a lot of the committee work. And I'm one of 2 children. I'm the youngest. And unfortunately, both were girls.
Yeah.
My dad was hoping second born would be a bonny little boy to carry on the industry. He was Marconi College, so he's been a lecturer before I was born. And he would travel the world, running training classes, and then he started A.R.T. And unfortunately, I was a girl. So he pretty much brought me up as a boy
Right.
to carry on
To carry on.
with the company. So yeah,
Brilliant.
he's my inspiration.
Fantastic. Final question. If there was one invention or innovation that you wish you had invented, what would it be and why?
I would like to uninvent
Okay.
the mobile phones
Yeah, that's fair enough.
or smartphones,
Okay.
where you are tracked, traced. You can watch a movie, you can make a call, you can go on all the social media platforms. You could do a Zoom call, as I did in my hotel room at 9 a.m. this morning. I hate the smartphone.
Yes.
It's a computer in your hand.
Yes.
I don't need that.
No.
We don't need that. So let's go back to the old Nokia. We can make a call, receive a call, and play Snake. That's all we need.
Well, I'm old enough to remember a world before mobile phones, and I do vaguely remember what that was like. And the world did go round. Things did get done. Things like Concorde got designed and manufactured, and we sent people to the moon and back. So it can be done.
So you agree with me?
Can
Let's
be done.
invent the smartphone.
Yes. Yes. I do like my smartphone, but there are days that I don't like it. So, yeah. But yes, you are allowed to uninvent some things.
Thank you.
And that's great. So, Debbie, I'll let you get back to the show and your networking. So thank you for coming along and
Thank
talking
you.
to us
Thanks for
today.
inviting me.
Brilliant. Thank you.